Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Paper with another Marvel Snap video. Today we got some news about the future of Marvel Snap. We've got an updated roadmap as well as some new modes coming to the game and some other things. So I just wanted to go through the blog post that they've posted on the Discord here and just talk about some of the things that they've got coming in store for Marvel Snap. So it looks like the post here starts with the coming soon section of the roadmap. The coming soon items are in the final phase of development. They're almost ready to release. They basically are just going through QA right now, and then they'll be released within the coming month or so. Okay, so the first thing that they talk about here is the new competitive mode being Conquest. So it's basically a battle mode format where you queue up against other players to face off in battle mode. You get rewards, you get, there are like ranks, so we can go from the Proving Grounds all the way up to Infinite. It's slightly less tiers than the ranked ones, so there's not 10 different tiers to climb through. But it does look like you're playing battle mode against up to 3 people. If you win all 3 of them, you get a ticket to get to the next league. And then you can fight into the next league, win that, get into the next league, and you just keep going over and over again. And then at the end of each season, it looks like there's another kind of tournament. It says culminating with the Infinity League at the end of each season. Players will battle their way to the top to claim ultimate victory and the best rewards. So it looks like we're getting a ranked mode that has even more rewards, which will just compound over the ranked mode that we currently have, where we get rewards every 10 ranks or so. So any new rewards just for playing the game, I think is a great idea. This Conquest mode sounds great. I'm super excited for this. This is the thing that I'm the most excited for in this entire blog post. I think it's going to be awesome. I think the content's going to be great. Grinding up these different tiers, and these are basically tournaments that you're playing, just 3 rounds of tournaments. I think it's going to be awesome. Having matchmaking battle mode is also great. This just sounds like an awesome update. Talking to some of the developers, they did say that this mode is still technically in development, so things can change with it. So they're not really answering too many questions that we're reaching out to them for. But this does sound like a great mode. It sounds like it's going to be great content, and I'm super stoked for it. It does say that this will release in June. So we're looking at a couple months out still for the release of Conquest. However, it sounds like it's super fun. All right, so the next thing that they have here is the token shop revamp. This has been something that people have been asking for a long time. There's been many different iterations of what people have wanted. It looks like they are doing one of the main things that people have wanted. So firstly, the weekly spotlight. When a new Series 5 card is released, it will be immediately featured in its own section for the week in Marvel Snap. So basically, when the new card's released, we'll have the option to buy that card for that entire week without having the fear of it getting rotated out. It'll give people time to see what other people are doing with the card. Me especially, I don't like buying things on the first day. So having the ability to see what other people are doing with the card and decide if I want to buy it, which is what I recommend everybody who watches my content do anyways. This will be great for that. Also, it gives you a guaranteed chance to get that card on the first day instead of having to wait the RNG cycle for it to come out. So then you immediately see that the next section is Series 4 and 5 cards, which basically it's going to just be the same token shop that we currently have. It'll feature every card that you don't own currently available in Series 4 and 5. But this also shows that now we're going to get multiple options in the token shop all at one time. The Series 4 and 5 cards will rotate every 8 hours, and we also have Ultimate variants who are going to get their own section, which is great because it was really annoying to have an Ultimate variant come out when you're looking for a specific card. So now we're going to have the Ultimate variants coming out in their own section. They're separate from Series 4 and 5 cards, and they're going to be, if you want them, you can buy them. Personally, I don't think they're too great of value. They don't give any gameplay enhancements. It's not really something I'm too worried about, but it did suck when they were like in place of the card that you're looking for in the token shop. So it'll be nice to get them out of there. They also had like such a low rate of showing up that sometimes they've added Ultimate variants I haven't even seen in my token shop. It'll be great to see those cards and get tempted, but I still think 5,000 tokens for these variants is a little bit too much. They're increasing, we'll read a little bit later that they are increasing some of the token acquisition stuff, but I don't think it's going to be enough to make me want to buy Ultimate variants still. Next, it looks like they've got the ranked mode improvements. So we're making a few updates before our next season that will address issues with some players feeling unable to progress or players that feel they are not facing worthy opponents. So the first thing is a matchmaking algorithm. We're improving our matchmaking algorithm to create higher quality matches for all players, including an update that will prevent players from matching against an opponent more than 30 ranks away. Now this is a huge one because we were seeing people with like rank 50 matching against infinite players, or like rank 30 matching against like rank 80 players. So this kind of just made it feel like ranks didn't matter, you know? And I was always telling people like ranks don't really matter because you're going to be playing against anybody anyways, which is partially true. The MMR did play a factor, but people tanked their MMR once they got to infinite. So then they were playing against those low ranked players at the beginning of the next season. That's kind of addressed with the next issue here, or the next point rather. Infinite MMR floor. When someone reaches infinite rank, we'll take a snapshot of their MMR. For the rest of the season, their MMR cannot fall below that value, but that means the MMR still can climb. So it doesn't lock them there, but it's a change there to address to people who are tanking their MMR to play against lower ranked people. So even with the 30 ranks away change, they're still implementing the MMR rank floor so that people can't just tank infinitely. So I think that's a great change. I think personally it doesn't really affect me. I get infinite every season and I don't tank my MMR, so neither of these changes really affect me, besides the rare case that I got matched with somebody who was 30 plus ranks lower. Once you hit infinite now, this is the last point, all your matches are going to be against infinite players or bots. So they haven't talked about the bots, I don't think, in this, but infinite versus infinite matchmaking, you will never play against an infinite player if you are not infinite, which is great. I think this is going to be awesome. It's going to increase the competitive integrity of the games post-infinite. The only problem with this is we don't have a way to test decks. So once I hit infinite, if I want to test my decks, I'm going to be testing new decks against infinite players only. I won't be able to play against anybody lower. I'll have to go into battle mode and play against other people for that kind of stuff, which does kind of suck. We'll talk about this a little bit later as well. But they do start this section with, we know there's more work to be done. Rank is a little bit too hard to climb for some people. They've been exploring changes on how many cubes are required per rank, how many bonus cubes are granted when you achieve a new tier, and also how much of a reset is incurred each season. So they're looking at all this stuff. This is stuff that is just going to be implemented before the next season, so it's kind of like, you know, the things that they're doing now, but it's going to be a constantly evolving situation. I think they're going to be changing things a lot in the future. There's still a lot of things that that kind of annoy people. So I think these are going to change a little bit more, but this is a good start. And I think next season we're going to see a more positive ranked experience, primarily with the infinite versus infinite matchmaking. I think it's going to make things really fun. But this also brings up a good point where if you get infinite early, what does your matchmaking experience look like? If you're the first person in infinite, do you just only play against bots for the next however long until somebody else gets infinite? Like, that sounds like a terrible experience. And also it's just going to inflate their MMR. So now the people who get infinite early are going to play only bots early on in the season, which means they're going to inflate their MMR and they're going to be out of the MMR range of the other people who get to infinite. Like that sounds like that's what it's going to do. Then you just get to this point where your MMR is just increasing exponentially if you're one of those early players. Personally, I usually don't get infinite for about 2 weeks into the season, so it's not like a huge deal for me. But I do think that this is a problem that needs to be addressed. And I think it's going to be something that gets talked about a lot very early. We're going to see people getting like rank 200 within the first week of the season just because they're going to get there early and then they're just going to start climbing exponentially against bots. We'll see what happens with this. And I think we'll talk about it a little bit more later as well. The next thing is the card acquisition improvements. So this is the more tokens that we're talking about. So we're increasing the amount of tokens earned on the collection level track for all players who have not yet collected all Series 4 and Series 5 cards. Starting at collection level 500, players will be able to earn 200 to 600 tokens in the caches and reserves regardless of whether they've completed Series 3 or not. So this is basically everybody's getting the same amount of tokens now. So the previously Series 3 players only got 100 tokens every time they opened a cache whenever the cache had tokens in it. So now they're increasing that by about 4 times on average, which is pretty good. It doesn't solve anything for the people who have already completed Series 3. We're still kind of in limbo here. It seems that Second Dinner's priorities are with the Series 3 not yet complete players, but the game's been out since October, A lot of people are finishing Series 3 now, and it's going to start becoming an issue now where people can't afford anything else because Series 4 cards are 3,000 tokens, Series 5 are 6,000 tokens. And even with this increase, you don't really get a lot of tokens still. So I don't know. For me personally, I don't think this is going to work that well for people who are Series 4 and 5 where we're still getting the same amount of tokens. It's obviously going to be great for the people still progressing through Series 3. I'm curious to see what somebody's account looks like who has started, like for my free-to-play account, when I get to collection level 500 and I start getting tokens with this update. I do wonder if it's going to be how different it's going to feel. Like I can actually afford Series 5 and Series 4 cards while I'm progressing Series 3. Like, I don't know. It feels like it's going to be a little strange, but all these changes seem to be targeted towards the Series 3 players still, including the next change. Choose your card. Series 3 cards now have their own special section in the shop. Once per season, players who haven't completed Series 3 will be able to claim one free Series 3 card to help them fill out their favorite deck and take a closer step to completing their collection. Now you can save your tokens for Series 4 and 5 cards. You don't need to wait long for these updates. Both of these changes will be in our next patch. So this next patch should be coming out next week, in about 4 days actually. So this will be coming up very soon. People will start to be able to collect their Series 3 cards that they've wanted. One free card is great. I think Series 3 has a lot of cards that enable a lot of decks, and I think having to chase them on random chances that they pop up in the token shop or that they pop up in the collection reserves or the caches, it does kind of suck. So I think this is a great change. So the next thing is the infinite rank revamp. So this is big for infinite players. They're implementing a skill rating score. So there's gonna be a number next to your name or something now. You'll be able to see how your rating score changes after each match. Basically, we're getting an elo system, it sounds like, where we have like an actual number where we can see like how we're progressing each season. And then we're also getting a leaderboard rank, which is kind of the same thing. I'm not entirely sure how these differ too much, but yeah, so now we have leaderboards as well. So all the infinite players are just going to be at the top, I'm assuming. This gives people a little bit more reason to play after they hit infinite, a little bit more reason to stay competitive after they hit infinite. For me personally, when I hit infinite, that's the off switch for me to just mess around and play anything that I want. I'm not really too invested in the game after I hit infinite because there wasn't really a reason to. This now gives infinite players a reason, so I'm looking forward to this one. Okay, so the last two sections, the in development and the in concept sections, they are a lot shorter. They don't have as much detail. In development are the next up features before in concept. So basically PC widescreen UI, smart decks, which is the auto-filling decks, I think that's what the smart decks were. When you're creating a deck, you can hit a button and fill the rest of the cards that you don't have filled in yet. Avatars and titles by deck, which is interesting. Personalized shop, and the global matchmaking. So these are all things that have been kind of on the horizon for a while, things that have been asked for. They don't really give us any information about them or timelines. So we're still hoping that PC widescreen comes out by the summer. The other things don't matter as much. Global matchmaking will be nice for the reduction of playing against bots. But the PC widescreen is kind of like the big one. PC widescreen is the big one that everybody's been talking about and everybody's been wanting. So and then the last thing is the in concept. So these are all features that have been in concept. They are scoped out, they've been given shape, but have not yet had any engineering or development work done in the game itself. This is where they would love our feedback the most. Concepts listed in this section may be elevated in priority, rescoped, or scraped entirely, or we might hear something completely new from the community. Personally, for me, I think guilds are something that should be in the game by now. I think friends lists and social systems need to be in this game like as soon as possible. Right now, we have to add each other via some like randomly generated code to play against each other. I think guilds would really help with that, because guilds also mean friends lists probably. Collectible emotes, I don't really care too much for collectible emotes or emojis, because that's just money for a cosmetic that I don't really like use. Mythic variants, I think, are going to be a huge money sink for me. I feel like I'm going to spend way too much money on mythic variants. They're going to have unique animations and voiceovers, I believe. I'm super excited for those. I just hope they come out for cards that I don't want, so I don't want to buy them. PC controller support's interesting. Not really sure how much that's going to be used. But the most important thing here is the test deck mode. So they start off here by saying, where's unranked mode? What's this test deck mode? They've been talking about the idea of unranked mode, but it's brought up some challenges for them as they've been trying to develop it. So instead of doing the unranked mode, they say here that they're reimagining the feature and they're planning on doing a test deck mode, which is just adding a button to the deck editing screen and it'll let you instantly hop into a low stakes game against the computer. So basically, you make a deck and you can hit this button, it'll take you into an AI game. So you play against a bot. This isn't really what we're looking for. I think this is going to take a lot of heat because I do not think that players who want an unranked mode want to just play against bots instead. Testing a deck is one thing, but testing a deck against a bot that's easily manipulated, doesn't play a deck that's in the meta even. I just think that playing against a bot is not going to have the same thing as just playing an unranked mode. People just want to get into the game and just play something. They just want to have fun and play a game as Snap sometimes. Sometimes the ranked feature, the default ranked feature, is not really what people want to do. I think this is going to take some heat. I don't think test deck mode is going to be the end all be all. I think the community is going to speak back on this. I've already made a post on the Discord about it. This is the only thing that I think is like sort of off the mark in this patch or this roadmap. Everything else sounds great. The infinite changes sound great. Card acquisition improvements sound great. Token shop revamp sounds great. So yeah, I think this is a great roadmap. I think Marvel Snap's headed in a great direction. I'm super pumped for the Conquest mode. The only thing that's disappointing is no unranked news. Let me know if there's anything in this blog post or this roadmap that you think is missing. I'd be very curious to hear. There's gonna be a lot of discussions over the next few months about this roadmap. So yeah, let me know what you think about this news. Let me know if there's anything that you wish was coming to Marvel Snap that you think is missing here. Let me know what you think about all this stuff. I think some of these changes, including the infinite rank changes, the conquest mode, the token shop changes, I think that stuff is great. I think the only thing that missed is this test deck mode. So yeah, give me your notes below. Let me know. I can talk about it more on stream. If you catch me live on twitch.tv/paper every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. I'm live there. I post a new deck highlight video every Monday if you're new to the YouTube channel. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel below and head over to my Twitch channel and give me a follow there. I'd really appreciate it. So yeah, let me know what you think about this update in the comments below. I will talk to you guys later and good luck snapping. Peace out.